Hey, it's Ray here, and I just wanted to do a quick video about Photo Vibrance. This is a brand new program from Josh Rada that I absolutely love, and I am super excited by this product. And you can kind of see a preview of what we're talking about up here. See this up here with this moving waterfall? That's actually a still image, and they've added this effect to it. And I'm going to show you exactly how this works because it really is cool. We're going to create something for the escape room. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab an image here, and I'm going to use this one for our beach escape. And I'm just going to drag it into here. Okay, and when we do so, we're going to have two different options. You got the magic motion, which is the easy option, or the 3D parallax, which is advanced. And to do the 3D parallax stuff, that is an upgrade, but it is a really good upgrade, and we'll show you that later on. So we're going to select this, and we're going to get our image in here. And we could choose the size. So you've got your different options for the standard sizes. In this case here, this image is an odd size, so if I want, I can come in and I can choose the whole thing. But if I want to stick with something, specifically like Facebook sized, we can go for that size there. We can drag this around, and that's going to be a good size for that. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit next. Now this is going to bring us to our main edit area, and you'll see across the top here you have something called arrows, anchors, and play. Play is just literally going to play back the video that you create with your still image. Arrows is going to allow you to add some movement, and the anchors are going to they're going to cut off certain areas that you can add these to, and I'll show you that in a second here. Down at the bottom, you've got select and grab, and as we do things, there'll be more buttons down here, and we'll show you that as we get on with that. To the left-hand side, you've got text, where you can add text to your image. You've got image, which allows you to add another image to this, so if you want to bring something in, you can do that. Here you've got your effects, and this is where you're going to add different effects to your image. So you've got things like bokeh and bubbles, hearts, there's fog, there's smoke, there's all sorts of really cool things, rain and snow and fireworks, and we'll show you that stuff in a moment as well. Down here you got shapes, so if you want to add shapes to here, you can. This is great for if you want to put like a rounded rectangle and then put text on top of that. It'll allow you, kind of like Photoshop, to have layers of things on top of each other in there. Down here you've got size. This is going to allow you to set your final video to the size that you want. So if you want it to be 4K, if you want it to be 1080, if you want it to be 720, the original size, etc., or even a custom size. Okay. Down here you got your publish button. So when you're ready to publish, you can do that. Here you can save. And then down here you can exit out and go back to the main menu. So what we want to do is we want to take our still image and turn this into a really cool animated piece of video. And it's so easy to do, and it does such a good job. What we're going to do is we're going to start off with this water here and make the water look like it's moving. And the way we do that is we come to our anchors, and we can do a path or we can do single. And I'm just going to do single. And that's going to allow me to come in here and just kind of bring this across the water here. This is flat, so I'll kind of cheat and go a little further apart here. And as we get into here, what we're going to do is we're going to try to go along the edges of the beach here, just like so, and just kind of block off the beach area. And we can always adjust any of these afterwards, so if we get them in the wrong spots and we want to change it, we can do that. For now, I'm just going to roughly do this. You may want to take a little bit more time in some cases. Now this is ocean water, so it's not like it's going to have the fast movement of like the waterfall that we saw in the last one. But now that we've got this area cordoned off here, what we're going to do is we're going to go to arrows. We're going to choose single. And what we're going to do is we're just going to make a bunch of these arrows kind of bringing the water into shore. So they don't have to be super long arrows. Last time I was playing with this, I went short, and I think a little bit longer is going to be better. We want to fill these in as much as we can in here. Okay, get as many of these arrows in here. The more we do, the more areas it's going to individually create the effect with, and it's going to make it really cool. And what we can do is as we move along the area here, we can make these a little bit shorter to give that illusion of depth. Okay, and the more arrows that we put in there, the more little areas of movement we can have. Oops. As you can see there, I accidentally did that, but you can move the arrows around afterwards if you need to. Okay, so just keep making these little arrows into here, and that's going to give us that illusion of movement. And again, over here, these can be longer because we're closer. And you'll see in a minute why we do all of this. Kind of like that waterfall effect we saw on the main page there, except this is going to be the ocean rushing in to the shore. Just keep going. Lots of arrows here. That's what we want. Give it that really good bit of movement going on here. Okay, so now that we've got that kind of filled in, what we're going to do is we're going to come up here and we're going to hit play, and I want you to watch, actually, put another one over here. I want you to watch that water as we do that. Okay, so look at that. It gives it that illusion that the water is moving in. And we can come up here and we can change the speed of that too. So if we want it to go faster, we can. I mean, how cool is that? And it's very, very simple. Looks really good when you saw the waterfall and stuff. And on this, it actually is pretty neat. Gives it that nice little effect there. It looks like the waves are breaking and everything. Okay, you may want to go a little bit slower, be a little more subtle with that. But that's going to give us that nice little effect with this. I think that looks really cool. And so now let's add an effect to this. So we can come into our effects area. And this is where we can choose things like bubbles and bokeh effects. We got hearts if we wanted hearts to be falling down. We got confetti. We got dollars. So if we want dollars to be falling from the sky, we can do that. Dust. We got embers, fireworks. We got fog, which is probably what we're going to use. So if we wanted to put fog in here, we could try a few different fogs. Let's try this one here. So we get that in here. And now if we hit play, we should be able to see some of that fog moving through. Oh yeah, look at that. That's really cool. And of course we can change the opacity of that if we don't want to see it nearly as strong. We can make it subtle. Okay. We can also change the type of fog. So if we don't like that, we could remove that and we could try a different fog. Go back into our effects here. Go down to our fog area, and maybe we want to do this fog here, which is kind of at the bottom. Okay, whoops, and I accidentally did two there. But that's okay, because what we can do is we can go and see our layers, and we can remove one of those fogs. Boom, there we go. And so now if we hit play, you'll see that fog at the bottom there, just kind of rolling in. Very cool little subtle effect. And again, you can change some of the things around here if you wanted to change the speed. Not only can you change the speed in the playback, but if you want to change the speed of just the fog, you can come in here and do fast fog, even if this isn't turned up all the way. And so now you'll see the fog moves a lot quicker. Okay. And you got all the different types of fogs that you can add in there. Now, if we want, we can also add our shapes and our text in here. In this case, we'll put a little bit of text. So we'll take this and put it up here. We'll call this Beach Escape. And we can come in and we can change the font if we want to. See what font works for us. Ooh, something like that's kind of cool. And you can change the letter spacing. If you're on multiple lines, you can change the line spacing. You can change the opacity if you want. And of course, you can choose how you want it formatted. Obviously, it's just 2 words, so there's not much formatting going on there. And of course, you can change the color to anything that you want it to be there. And boom, there you go. So now we've got what was a nice still image, and now we've got this animated movement in that image to add some really cool effects to your simple images that you have there. Great for posting on things like Facebook and on your website. Just adds a really, really nice effect that a still image just doesn't quite do compared to that. All right, so once we're done with creating all of this, what we can do is we can save this by hitting the save button there, and then we can save that out. So if we were to call it beach and save that there, and then we can publish this by clicking here. You can choose whether you want an MP4 or a GIF file. And in this case, we're going to do an MP4, and we're going to do, let's do 8 loops of that. And we'll hit publish, and we'll call that beach. And the cool thing about this is once we produce this, we can use it for all sorts of things. We can post this on Facebook. We could use this on YouTube. We could put it into other projects. So for instance, if I'm doing a video for the Beach Escape and I want to put this at the end, you know, now I've got, instead of just a still image at the end, I've got this really cool effect on there. And you can also use it for the backgrounds of your website if you want. If you've got the ability to put a video as a background, it creates a nice subtle background that a little bit better than just a still image, but you know, not as crazy as a full-blown video being thrown in there. So that's how you use Photo Vibrance to create a really cool video from your images in a very quick amount of time. Now, some of you might say, well, wait a minute, couldn't you just use Photoshop or After Effects or whatever? And the answer is kind of. You could do things with an image, but it's not going to be this quick. It's not going to be this easy, and you're not going to get that effect here very easily of making that water move and whatnot. Plus with the effects built into it with the fog, that's going to save you a ton of time and make it very easy to do these very cool projects with this. So now if we exit out of here, we can go and we can grab another image. And this time I'm actually going to use a stock image. Okay, so we can come in here, you can see these different stock images in here. We can try to find something that makes sense for us, like, let's find something fun. You know what, this one here looks really kind of cool, because we've got a few things going on here. Now this time I'm going to choose the 3D parallax version. Okay, and again, you can choose the size of your image. And this time I'm actually going to go with the custom and go with the full size, because I think there's a lot of cool things in there. And I'm going to hit next. So now that we're in with our image here, what we're going to do is we're going to isolate different things in here. So for instance, this weird dragon looking thing, we're going to isolate that from the rest of the image. We're going to do that by hitting Cut New Object. And you can see down here, you're going to use Control and click to add your extra points. And so start off by clicking that here. And we're just going to go around this object just like so. Coming in here and clicking all around. Now you want to do a really nice job of getting around everything. I may cheat a little bit, but when you're doing this for a real project, you're going to want to, really get in there and do a nice job with your points. Okay. I'm going to cheat a little bit, move a little quicker, just because we want to get this done sooner than later. When you're doing this, you probably want to get really in there and make sure you get all the points that you can to really isolate what you're trying to work with. Okay. Again, we're going to move a little quicker just because we want to get this done. So it takes a few minutes, but not too long. Kind of like using Photoshop, but it's pretty easy. Just go right along your edges here as best you can. And here I'm going to cheat a little bit just because I don't want this video to be 2 hours long. And you'll get the idea once we get into here. So just come in here, keep filling these in just like so, best you can. We'll go right over those. Right into here. All right, just like so. And once we get around the whole thing, make any mistakes, we can actually go back and we can fix those afterwards. So we can come in here and go whoop, just fix any mistakes that we have. But that's close enough for what we're doing right now. So now once we do that, we can give this a name if we want. So I'm going to call it Dragon, and we're going to hit next. And now you can see we've got that isolated out here. So what we need to do is fill in this hole, and what we're going to do is we're going to clone. So we're going to hit Start Cloning. And in here, you've got options for radius, hardness, and opacity. I'm going to turn the hardness way down because we want this to be nice and soft because of this kind of organic-y look here. And what we're going to do is we're going to hit the Control key and click here or somewhere. And then we're just going to draw over what we have here, just like so. And you can see it's going to kind of fill in all of these little cloudy-like areas. Oops, undo that one there. There we go. Just like so. And again, if you make any mistakes, you can always undo it, because we are going to make mistakes, no doubt about that as we do this. So come in here just like so, get all these things in here, fill in all your spots as best you can. And if you get an area like that, we'll actually change the hardness of this later so that we can fill in some of those areas that are a little tougher. You can see we're just going to blend this right in there. It's very easy to do. If you have no experience using something like Photoshop, you can still do this. Just get all that filled in. Oh, we don't want to do that part though there, so we're going to redo that there. Boom. Just like so. Get some of this and bring this down. Okay, so you can see it really, if you do it right, you're going to start to really get a good result out of this, and it's going to still look kind of organic-y without having any issues in there. But it will take a little bit of effort. may have to mess around with things a few times to get them right. But you can see we're filling that in there, and it really gives it that cloud look to the point where you really can't tell that we filled anything in there. It still has that same swirly cloud look to it and feel. And just kind of mess around with that until you get what you want. And now it's like that was never even there in the first place. And that looks pretty good. And again, you may want to spend a little more time on this if you got the time to do so, but we're just going to do it like that. And so now you can see it kind of looks like it was never there in the first place. And so now as we put this back in here, we can animate that over the background and give it that nice little parallel effect. So we're going to hit next, and boom, now you can see our guy is back in here again. And now if we start to add little effects to this, it's going to make a big difference to everything that we're doing. So this is our main image here. We've got our little tools here. This is going to allow us to create the animations. We're going to have on the timeline here, we're going to have the keyframes in there. Okay, so if we want to put a keyframe down over in this area here, we can do that. But with this here, you can move things around like that. You can see it moves the image around. Okay, you can also do things like zooms in and zoom outs, nice and easy like that. Okay, and you can always add a keyframe, drag that, let's say, to the end, so that if we want to have it start one way and end another way, we can do that. So we can have it start like this, come down to our last keyframe, and now we can zoom in a little bit, just like so. And you can see it's got that parallaxing effect to that. We can also move this around if we want to, okay, just like so. And so now if we play this back, you'll see kind of the movements that we get out of that. You can see it slowly moving in on the image there. Okay. And now we can add other things into this. We can add effects. We can also add particles to this. So if we wanted to add particles, we come over here, we turn on the particles, choose the one we want. So for instance, maybe we'll do these leaves here, and we can change the sizes. We can change the quantity, the opacity, the depth. So you can have some fun with the different depths on here with it. Okay, so you do something like this. And so now when we play this back, watch what happens. Now we got this, and we got these leaves moving through, and that nice parallax effect. And again, this is all done with just a still image turned into this beautiful video that you can use, and you can get as creative as you want. Once you're in here and you start doing all of this, you can still add your text, you can still add your images. You've got objects now in this version that you can add in there. So if you wanted to add an object, you can do that just by picking one out of here. You've still got all of your effects that you can add. So if we wanted to add, let's add some rain to this, or yeah, let's try some rain. So you want to add rain to this, you just click that there, and now we've got rain going on, and you can resize that in there, and we hit play, and you'll see now it's raining on top of all that as well. And that's all done with a still image and just this one cool piece of software. And this software is available in just a couple of days, so be ready for that. By the time you see this, it might already be ready, but it's coming out on the 8th of June. It's currently the 3rd when I'm playing around with this now, but it comes out on the 8th. We're going to have some great bonuses for that, so check down below for that. But definitely check this out because it is such a very cool little product that's going to help you to make some really neat stuff that you can post on your social media or put onto YouTube, etc.